Hey guys, this is Chesney Hawkes here. You are watching My Hammers 11 with the one and only Russ.
Thank you, Chesney. Thank you, Chesney Hawkes. That was a nice surprise. Good old Ches, bless him. All the way from LA. Very nice indeed. Anyway, hope everyone's safe. Russ and My Hammers 11. If you're new channel, please consider subscribing, hitting the bell icon so you may every time I put new content on. As always, I'd like to thank our lovely channel sponsors, Untuck It. Check them out in the description below. One day I will be able to say that in one breath. One day. Anyway, hope everyone is safe. Well, today we've got. I'm really looking forward to talking to Ham. What do I call you? I know he's Hammerturk. What do I call you guys?
Turk. Everyone's just always called me the Turk. So
okay.
Turk, Turkish, whatever you want.
Turk. All right. So we've got Turk. How are you doing, Turk? How you doing, man? You're right, buddy.
Very good, mate. I'm very good. Thank you very much for having me on.
Pleasure, man. The sun is shining. Hornchurch is sparkling at the moment. It's lovely.
It is, especially with the local team doing well as well the other night and going through to the final. So
Wembley.
Very, very nice to see the local boys going through there, and I'm sure there'll be hopefully some strong support with West Ham fans being
definitely.
around.
Yeah, definitely. It's sort of it's weird, isn't it? Sort of Hornchurch FC, in that it is like there was a period where like people like Steve Potts was playing for them. I think Keith Roden was playing them for a while. There's sort of it's a funny amateur little club. It's strange. I never really sort of understood it much, but yeah, Wembley. So everyone will be banging on the old bandwagon now. So that's fantastic.
Of course.
He's brilliant. He's absolutely brilliant. And West Ham themselves are doing all right. We're doing all right at the moment, aren't we, Turk?
Well, listen. I don't think anyone could have foreseen the season that we've had. No. And you know what that feeling's like when you're winning. You just want to play all the time, every 2 days, every 3 days. Yeah. It doesn't matter. Let the fixtures keep coming. And I still feel a little bit down from the last result. It kind of kicked me a little bit. But look, you can't moan at all across the board from the manager all the way through to the players. So I'm looking forward to the next game already, and it's been brilliant.
Yeah, it is. I hate international breaks. I'm not an England fan. I'll be honest. I know some people are really passionate about England, but I'm really not. And it's just gets in the way, particularly like now. It's got this relatively squeaky bum time of the season now, and then we've got this sort of like almost a 2 week break. To be honest, it's just it's not good.
I don't mind. I don't mind the tournaments because the tournaments are always good for obvious reasons. But like you said, the international breaks always normally come at a bad time. You've either just lost and then you need to come back and get winning, or you've won and you want to keep up that momentum. Obviously, with us, we drawing, it felt like a little bit of a loss. But you want to make sure the players have not been affected by that too much, because it can affect the camp a little bit, being free up and coming out of a draw. But listen, we're West Ham and we're there to make things happen.
We are. But we're notorious being slow to get back. That's the trouble. We at the beginning of the season and every international break, it seems that we take like a game or two to get back into the swing of things. But that being said, although the fact is, the last 2 games, the man of the matches for England have both been West Ham players.
Yes.
Souček scored a hat-trick. As long as Fabianski doesn't come down with COVID like the rest of the Polish squad, I'm happy. I'll be happy. That's I think 4 have got COVID apparently in the Polish squad, which is not really
I heard that as well. And obviously it's not around the game, so we've got to make sure that those boys that you just mentioned, especially, come back unscathed and ready to go. Exactly. And whilst the others that have been left behind, if you like, are ready to fill in the gaps when needed as well.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's what I do now. Literally, I don't watch the England game. I literally wait till it's finished and then I'll look at the report and see if Deck's been subbed as he started. He's been subbed. Why he's been subbed? It's tactical change or whatever. Yeah, okay, it's fine.
100%.
I just get these flashbacks of Dean Ashton, from like years ago. So that's why you want your players to do well. You want them to play, but there's always that. West Ham first mentality with me, as you said. But then I'm a fair weather fan. If we get to like the quarterfinals of the Euros, I'll be there, face painted, down the New Inn or the Arden or something like that. That'd be me. I'm such a fair weather fan, and I know that is. But I just can't stand it at the moment. I really can't stand it. But it seems a bit. I always think it's a bit strange at the moment. We're in this weird world at the moment, and people are flying all over the world, like to play football matches. It's just,
it's about getting your head around that as well, isn't it?
It is,
They're going backwards and forwards all over the place.
Yeah.
But look, it is what it is. Football's too big to stop by the looks of things, so it's going to happen whether we like it or not.
Very true, very true. And football aside, how have things been with you in Turkey in terms of this weird world we live in at the moment?
Well, look, I don't think anyone would have seen that we would have been at this stage when it first came out over a year ago.
No.
So for me, at the beginning, this was a nice welcome break. It was a time to recharge the batteries and to evaluate everything. That happened, and then it was a case of, this is carrying on a bit too much, and then you're eager to get back to a bit of normality. But whatever that normality looks like at the moment, it just doesn't seem as close as it seems to the eye. So I'm just hoping that we get through this next little bit, and the first stage is obviously with the pubs opening from the outside, and then seeing how that affects everyone else, and if there's a knock-on effect there. And hopefully, fingers crossed, we get through that, and everyone gets back to their lives and their families and earning money.
Yeah, very true, very true. I must say, it was interesting, it was exciting. Then it just became an annoyance, and now it's just like the norm now, isn't it? And even when Boris did his big roadmap, I was like, brilliant, but it was like, still means we're still sort of locked down properly until June. It's like,
Well, I went to everyone's done it. I know we all keep masses of masks in our cars these days. I went to Tesco's yesterday. Went back to walk in, realised I forgot my mask. Funny enough, outside there was guys giving masks. So I was like, okay, brilliant. Then I realised I forgot my wallet, so I had to go back to the car anyway. When I went back to the car to get my wallet, I left my mask in there. So I went back, and then I went back about 3 or 4 times. I was like, all this just to pop into Tesco's. I was just like, But it's just getting used to it now, and I don't like it, but it's ultimately it's what we've got to do to make sure that everything goes back onto track. So not long now. And then we're back in the stadiums as well, hopefully. Hopefully,
end of the beginning of next season, we should have full capacity. Hopefully, hopefully we get 10,000 in by the Southampton game, which would be brilliant. They're talking about the FA Cup semi-finals, a couple of thousand as test centres. It would be good. Yeah, but it is weird. I mean, obviously I'm still at the stadium now, so it is strange not having. Well, it's the same. It started off strange. It started off unusual. Now it's just become the norm. I think I'm going to get a bit of a shock when, it was a bit of a shock when we had 2,500 Man United fans turn, in the Man United game. That was weird. So to have 10,000 is going to be awesome. Because obviously all the pubs hopefully will be open as well, and the bars and the boats and stuff around the ground. So although there'll be 10,000 in the stadium, I don't think there'll be 10,000 around the area. I think it's going to be a bit of a party. So, it is weird.
It's strange because I've always watched football in the stadium. I've never really watched football on TV, or West Ham. I've never watched West Ham on TV. No. Always been in the grounds, and whether it be home or away. And now I'm looking at it and I think to myself, I'm watching it on TV. It's never the same. It never will be the same. But it's weird watching it in that kind of way. Even with obviously I've watched other teams on TV, but when you're watching West Ham and you've got your own stadium, you can see your seat in the background. It has been a little bit weird, but. This is a conversation that many have had. Maybe it has been to our benefit this season, and the reason why we've been having such a good year is because of that. Time will tell, but for the moment, I'm just enjoying the ride.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm totally in agreement. I'm totally in agreement that the not having fans helped us at the beginning. No doubt, because we had that horrible run of games planned. We just sold Grady. Noble came out and all that. There's all that hoo-ha, and if there was fans in there, and particularly the Newcastle games, we were so poor. It would have just added to that fire, and then obviously going to Arsenal and not getting anything there would have added to the fire even more. And it would have just played on the players' minds, definitely, if the fans were there. So it's definitely helped us to start off with. I think now it's the other way. Now we could really do with the fans to give us that 10-15% on the run-in. Realistically, Turk, where do you think we'll finish this season?
Well, now when we're looking at it and the games are running out, and we used to talk in games running out. Are we going to get relegated? How many points can we get from these games coming up? But when we're looking up, and I'm looking at the amount of games, and they are one by one, tick tick. I think we're in a very good position now, and it's in our hands. My only concern is, and this is what we've got to be as a West Ham fan, is that there's a lot of good teams in and around us that are still in those positions, and Chelsea, Liverpool, Tottenham come in there as well. So I think realistically, if we can finish seventh, I would be absolutely delighted. That's not me, not looking at it and thinking we should finish fourth, fifth, sixth. Yeah. I think if we can finish in the top seven, it's a fantastic season. Even eight's a fantastic season, but we're so close now. I don't want to be left at the end of the season and go, oh, why didn't we do that? And why didn't we do this? And there's been a couple of those moments. Man United away, we could have really gone for it, and we went for it at Arsenal. But going back to what you just said, I think if we had the home crowd in at 3-0 up, I don't think we'd have lost it.
No, I don't think
we'd have drawn. Sorry, I don't think we'd have lost that lead.
Yeah.
So, to answer your question, I think that we need to be aiming to stay around that fifth position. Yeah. The good thing is we're playing the teams around us. So we're going to play the Leicesters, and we've got those teams around us again. So it's about us staying in there, and our next game is very, very important because that's been a stumbling block for a few years now.
Definitely. Although we still haven't lost 2 consecutive games all season.
Correct.
Because even the Premier League 2 losses there, we had the Carabao Cup in the middle. So
yeah.
So I mean that shows some resilience, of the team and a different mentality. And I'm the same with you. I think 5th, 6th is more achievable. A former West Ham manager, I texted him, it was his birthday, and he texted me back to say, nailed on for top 6. So there we go. So, and I trust this man. He knows his football. So it's like, okay.
Listen, we've played a lot of the tough games. There's no easy game in the Premier League. But at the same time, we go into every game feeling confident. We go into every game looking at it and going, they've got to beat us. And we've got goals in us if everyone stays fit. So let's see what happens. It's going to be interesting.
It will be interesting. So if we go back to early Turk. Why West Ham, man? Why is it your club? You talk very passionately about it, I know. So, but what started it for you, man?
It was my dad. I think there's a lot of people that sit there and go, how did it all start? I was born in Dagenham, so big West Ham following around there. And then moved through to like Ilford way, again, big West Ham following around there, schools, etc. It started off for me and my dad. I was talking about this recently, really. He used to work a lot during the week, so the weekends was kind of our time together. So I was very lucky. I got a season ticket at a very young age. I was 9 years old. Wow. So, for that age, it was really good. But that was our time. We used to go to West Ham, and I used to absolutely love it. And I used to play football myself. So for me, around that age, back then, you used to be able to, if you was in a box as well sometimes, which we went in the box, you used to be able to run on the pitch after the game and have a kickabout with a few of the players. I remember Ludek McCloskey, Ian Fewer, people like that. And I just fell in love with the club. Like West Ham fans, I always say this to people, and I feel like it kind of chooses you rather than, the other way around sometimes. And it's always been my club, and everything to do with the club has been what I've followed over the years, from match day experiences to the ups and the downs, more downs than ups. But we follow our team, and there's no other team that I can ever see myself following in that respect. It was always going to be West Ham growing up in that area, and long may that continue. Yeah, no, exactly. And you're right. It's one of those things, isn't it? And it's something that's passed down from generation to generation. It's like I think. I mean, I've got a daughter. She's 8. She's not really into football, but she likes the ladies' team. So West Ham women. So it's sort of, sort of through that as well. And you're right. It's one of those things where, I think there's no one I've interviewed, and we've interviewed lots of players, lots of fans and players and whatever, who have gone, oh yeah, West Ham was all right.
You know, I played for West Ham. It was all right. I went to one West Ham game. It was okay. Everyone's hooked the first time they've walked up that stadium, you know, and whether it's Upton Park or whatever, and a newer fan, so to speak, and it's the first time at London Stadium or whatever. And that's it, man. You know, and I think we're a funny bunch, West Ham. As you said, a lot of thin, not thick. We've been through, but we still have this completely passionate base and fan base across the world. You know what I mean? Globally. I mean, I've interviewed people all over the world, and they all support West Ham. Some people never even stepped a foot in Newham. Do you know what I mean? But they just and they've picked our team. You know, that's the thing that surprises me. You know, I've talked to people in Bangalore or whatever, and they picked West Ham. Like, for God's sake, you know, you had like 20 odd teams, but you picked us, you weirdo.
Yeah. 100%, and it's not like even our colours are kind of the normal kind of colours that people go for. You know, most people support teams that are red and white, blue and white, or whatever. You know, claret and blue for us, it's just it just stuck. And like you, I've been away and met so many people that support West. They stop me because I've got a West Ham top on or a West Ham shorts, or they've seen me West Ham tattoo or whatever it might be, and I'm just like, well, where's your story? Because their story is far more interesting than mine. Because for me, I didn't really have a choice in it. But for them, they've had a choice. And like you just correctly said, they've picked West Ham. So fair play to them. And those fans are always welcome, all across the globe.
Oh, definitely. And it is true. It is true. Talking about, going on holiday or whatever, my wife hates it because literally my suitcase is just West Ham shirts. It's just easy around the beach, isn't it? It's so easy around the pool.
Yeah.
Remember when you could go to the pool and like go on holidays? It was incredible those times.
Yeah.
But yeah, so you used to throw and it's like you'd bump into people and, if there's a West Ham bloke, or even not even a West Ham fan, I think, to be honest, any football fan will come and talk to a West Ham fan because I think there's a special, I still believe we're a lot of everyone's second team, and we really still are. And then people come over to us and still talk to us. They might be Liverpool or whatever.
Yeah,
and you've got some rapport, and I think people appreciate the struggles we've been through. That's why I think that, some people, when like a team like lucks out and has like a really good season, people look down on them a little bit and go, But I think a lot of people are like, fair play to West Ham. They're doing the right. And it's a different mentality. Than a plucky upstart. It's like, well, fair play to them because they've been through enough shit. They deserve a good season once in a while. But hopefully a few seasons now. That's what I want now.
It'd be nice to have that consistency, and I don't care if people started to call us glory hunters. They can do that in a few years' time.
I'll take that,
if they want, because I've been called a lot worse for following West Ham. So, but like you said, there is that connection with other teams up and down the country, and Man City are an example of that. I think I look back and I think they're very similar to how we started and where we were, in League One and League Two, still turning out those fans. There's not many clubs in the Premier League that in those divisions would have that many people still going to the games. So we are one of those clubs, and we've been there, and could have been a lot worse as well for us if we did come back and ping back at first time, both times that we got relegated recently. So. We're a funny bunch, but I'll tell you what, I absolutely love it.
Yeah, I wouldn't change it. Wouldn't change it for the world. Some people said, "Oh, would you like to win the Premier League?" No, I don't think I would. I really don't think I would, because I think actually that's part of the being a West Ham fan is that struggle. It is that knowing is that it's almost like when you've seen an accident or a roller coaster and that dip's coming. And you still go to it, you still go forward knowing that you're excited to see that dip because it's going to happen. We know we're going to, I half expect this will go out. It's obviously this go out on what day is it? This will go out like Wednesday or whatever. When we play Wolves on Monday, we could easily lose that game. Lose the game 3 or 4-0. Just it's West Ham, and we know it's going to happen. And that's what I love about us. We just we don't know what's going to happen. And even with the squad selection now, because everyone hopefully be fit by the time Wolves comes. We don't know what team Moyes is going to put out. We don't know where Ben Rama's going to play or whatever. And it's exciting. I'm genuine. It's probably the most excited I've been supporting West Ham for probably as long as I've started. I mean, I've worked there for 20 years now. It's the most excited I've been in the last 20 years, I reckon.
Yeah.
Any time before that was probably the beginning of the Redknapp era when we got to the Untitled Cup.
I have to agree with that. That was I love that era, and we finished fifth, I think, that season, and we was brilliant. And then just to bring it back a little bit more recent, the last year at the Bowling was special because I think there was a special atmosphere and special players as well. You know, Payet was special, and he made that special. But outside of that, this is very, very exciting. We've just normally just been in it. We've made up the numbers, and I really feel now we just look solid. Yeah. And it's hard not to get ahead of yourself. And the problem is, as a West Ham fan, is you lose one game and then that's it. Your WhatsApp groups start flying up, Twitter's flying off, Instagram's closed down because everyone's, losing their head over it. But look, ultimately, apart from, I think, a few games where there's been some mistakes in terms of selections and stuff like that, Moyes has pretty much got it right consistently every single game. So we've just got to let them just crack on with it. The backroom staff and everyone have all pulled their part, and we've just got to keep supporting the team like we have done for all those years. Definitely. Give it a good go.
And I know what you mean, but I think there has been a slight change in mentality around the fans. I mean, obviously, I look at the Man City game we lost about a month or so ago, and 18 months ago, 2 years ago, it said Twitter would have been awash.
Yeah.
Hashtag Moyes out, rubbish. Yeah. But it was almost like completely different. We were like, unlucky guys.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you gave it a good go. And that's what we want. And I think it's brilliant.
It goes back to what you were saying as well about the as a fan, our mentality. We've always just wanted to just have a go. We was never as good as some of the teams that we used to beat sometimes at Upton Park. Beating Man United over there and the Liverpools and the Arsenals at the time. I remember we was never as good as those teams, but we just had a go. And every now and again, we used to nick a result. So with that in mind, I think that mentality is still there with us. Let's have a go. And that's why I said a couple of fixtures that I think that we just didn't have a go. And Man United in both competitions, the Cup and the League, we just didn't have a go in there. But City, we had a go. And if I'm honest with you, there's City fans out there that said we're the best team that have turned up at the Etihad this year. And we could have easily won that. But when we didn't, we gave it a go, and that's all we want. Just keep having a go.
Yeah, you're right, mate. And we got to talk about obviously that your foray into podcasting with the boys as well.
Yeah.
How's that getting on? How are you enjoying that?
Yeah, thanks for that. Yeah. Do you know what? I love it. It really kind of helps kind of discuss stuff. We all love talking about football anyway. And the idea of that podcast, Saturday morning G&T, is that it's about combining more than just football. It's about everything to do with football, and we've chucked a few things with business in there as well. But I do the podcast with two great guys. They're both Spurs fans. So this year's been fun so far, because every single week we're turning up and I'm sitting here like a Cheshire cat and they're in the glum, especially after the Arsenal game and whatnot. But they're great bunch of lads. And we've been managing to get some good guests on as well along the way and building it up nicely and just talking all things football really, from Premier League and everything as well. And just gives everyone a chance just to voice their opinions. But it's building up really nicely. So if there is people listening, check it out.
Definitely. No, yeah, it is. It's great fun. And anyone listening, they want to have a go, crack on, because I think it's great. I mean, I've only been doing it for like 10 months or so, and it's I think it's brilliant. I love it. It just gives it, if anything, it gives me an excuse to like wander off to go and, because I don't think my wife really understands what I do.
Oh yeah.
Apart from if it's like someone that she's heard of. So if I don't think someone she's heard of, she's interested. So it's like, I don't know, Ben or Ray or someone, she gives a shit about, or Harry, she gives a shit about that one. If I'm interviewing, I don't know.
Me?
No. Anyone else, like a normal, so to speak. She'll be like, oh.
Yeah.
Oh, even like an ex-player. So I'll talk to I don't know.
Yeah.
But I've said, I interviewed David James. Oh, I know him from Strictly. Yeah, he's all right. He is. Yeah. Exactly. So she doesn't give a shit what I do. So it also means there's no one's fighting over the Netflix subscription, because obviously, the mother-in-law's in the front room. You've only got 3 screens. I'm a cheap ass, so I've only got 3 screen options. So my daughter's on one, wife's on the other. I can't watch my own Netflix subscrition. So I thought, fuck it, I'll just go start a podcast instead.
Why not?
And why not? What else?
They're brilliant. They're real. Keep it
Thank
up.
you very much.
Really
Cheers, Turk, man. Right, let's do the point of the whole episode and talk about Hammers 11. So everyone we've had on the channel, bar a few, 3 people, I think, in 300, almost, must be nearly 300 now. Fuck, better calculate that. But 270-ish maybe. Only 3 people haven't given their Hammers 11. But the idea is everyone we get on, we ask than to put together an 11. You can basically put whoever you want in terms of criteria. There's nothing the best, could be the worst, whatever. As we said before, could be the most technical, whatever you want. But the only rule is you have to be alive to have seen them play. So otherwise, you and me, we never saw Billy Bonds. I never saw Bobby Moore play. Never saw Brooklyn play. So they didn't get much. I saw manage. I saw Brooklyn and Bonds manage, but I never saw them play, so they didn't get in the team. So I was somewhat hamstrung by that. Not really. There's some great players in the last 30 odd years, but anyway, that's what I try and do. So we're starting goal. So who's going to go for the Turkey 11?
Just before that, I was just going to say how hard it was to come up with it.
It is, isn't it? Yeah, it's really hard.
I was trying to, look at different angles and, different players are popping into my head. But no, it's really tough. But what I've done for you is I've kind of picked an 11 that left a little bit of an inspiration on me watching football for one reason or another. So I'll go into that in a minute. For me, I had Shaka Hislop in goal.
Oh, lovely. I like
Shaka. I think for me, especially the season that 2006, getting to the FA Cup final, he was absolutely brilliant. Great shot stopper. It was just brilliant just to see a goalkeeper who wasn't necessarily West Ham, but he bought into what he was, and he was a great keeper for us, and improved from signing for us as well. And he just got better and better. So I've gone with Shaka Hislop in goal.
Cool. Yeah, top man, Shaks. And you're right. He's he's sort of like, for me, he has like similar split allegiances between West Ham and Newcastle. That's the way, because I remember we interviewed him and he was wearing a West Ham t-shirt, but he had a Newcastle crest behind him or something like that, or vice versa. He's a top man, Shaks. He's so cool. He's I just love him. But you're right. And obviously one of those players who I call like boomerang players, where they go and come back. And obviously he came back for that 2006 FA Cup, and obviously he was second choice, and I think Jamo got injured or whatever, and then he came in or something like that. I can't remember it. He came back and ended up playing in the FA Cup, and
I've only seen the highlights to that game once, because obviously being there, and I never had the heart to watch it again.
No,
but I watched it and I thought, could he have could he have made it just into that corner a little bit longer? Anyway, that's in the past, but I've still gone with him. I think he was a great keeper for us.
Yeah, great shout. Right, okay, let's go into defence. Go on, you go through it as you got it written down, man.
Right, so I've gone with Steve Potts. Nice. For me, when I first started going over to West Ham, Steve, I love Steve Potts. I mean, I love Tim Breaker as well, but I went with Steve Potts in that kind of right backy position, if you like. He was good on the ball. He was short. For a centre half or for a defender, if you like, but he just seemed to just get in there and nip in as well. And also being a West Ham fan as well, it just really made me like him even more. And now watching his boys kind of grow up, and I know we've got one of his boys in the academy now, and one was there and gone off. So I went with Steve Potts in that position. I've gone for me two centre halves. I've gone for Ginger Pele and Ian Pearce. And the reason for them is I used to see Ginge quite a lot in and around the area. He used to live not far from us, and always so passionate about West Ham. Always gave 100%. Put his body on the line, and you knew that if he was playing, that he was going to give their centre forwards a tough game. And he just got better and better. The more hair he lost, he got better as a footballer. So he was absolutely brilliant. And Ian Pearce as well. That season where we sometimes played him at the back, sometimes played him up top. I love that he scored that goal at White Hart Lane as well. Left foot, volley, top corner. I think it went in the end. And again, he had an affiliation with West Ham. He supported West Ham as a kid. So people like that I used to look at and think, you're living my dream. And I used to love seeing them there. Maybe look, Ian Pearce, without being too harsh on him, might not have been the best centre half we've ever had. Of course, we could have had the likes of Rio, and I could have had I used to love Reaper as well at the back and others. But I just loved watching Ian Pearce. Just gave 100%. 100%. No,
I loved Ian Pearce. Ian Pearce was in mine, I think. Yeah, it was in mine. I had him on, and part of the reason is because, as you said, it was always good It's always good. You don't get him anymore now. You don't get that sort of centre half forward anymore. I remember Chris Sutton did the other thing. He's got up front in some places, and it's always good on the old fantasy football if you can get one of them, because they just go up for it's like having Thomas Souček, or Craig Dawson. He scored just as many goals as bloody Antonio.
Exactly.
But he's a great boy, PC. I think he's still at West Brom. I think he's head
of recruitment there. I think he's been there for a couple of years as well.
He's been there a while now.
Yeah, but he talks very highly of the club, like most people do. And I just, he stood out for me. I remember his number 19 shirt, and being away at a game once, he chucked it into the crowd, and I was, not close enough to it, but I was close enough to touch it, I think. But he was a great player. And then I've gone for my old neighbour, Paul Konchesky, a left back.
Oh, I'll go for Conch.
Conch is a lovely guy. Again, West Ham through and through. Wonder of a left foot. And I think people don't realise how much of a good career he had sometimes. Even playing for Liverpool and England. And when he was younger, he used to play for Simrab, who are a team that I know very, very well. We used to play against them a lot in that Echo League. But Conch is a top guy, and there's a load of left backs we could have had in there as well. But I've nipped him in there because I know he watches your podcast, so I don't want him
he does.
to.
Yeah.
I don't want to get a dirty message from him, so I thought I'll stick Conch in.
I know, it's funny. A lot of them do get they get. It's quite, you just think it's a little silly little thing. They get really, they get calls. Like I interviewed a guy the other day, and he texted me, "Oh my god, I've had 3 calls from people who I know I haven't put in the team." We did one with JMO as well. We did JMO's. We did his, and I love David James. He was phenomenal. He was such a nice bloke. And then the day after, he was recording it. He was doing live at London Stadium, the West Ham thing. And I get a name check in there. They didn't edit that out. They forgot to edit that out.
Oh, right.
Yeah, very, very subtle one about Thomas Repko. He went, apparently what Russ said, because I know all of them. So anyway, then brilliant. Afterwards, apparently Jack and Chris, I know very well, we're talking. We're going to get Colton on soon anyway. So we're talking, and then JMO was like, "Oh, I can't believe I forgot to put Paolo Di Canio in my team." I was like, "Oh, do you know, fair play." No, I love it. Yeah, Conch is a dude. We've had him on a few times. He's done a few bits for us now. He's a top man. Top boy, and his boy's doing well. His boy's doing really well, it seems.
Yes, he is, and long may that continue.
Totally.
Great to have those boys coming through.
Yeah, exactly, and still heavily, obviously, Conch is still heavily involved with the like he's doing on the loans thing, isn't he? And Potsy's done something to be coached as well, so it's all good. Right, midfield then. Midfield.
I've gone for 3 in midfield. Nice. I'm going to start with Joey Cole. Growing up, again, I remember the hype that was around Joey Cole, and we've got this young kid called Joey Cole coming through. I remember him making his debut against Swansea. I think it was in the cup. He'd come on for a little cameo role, whatever it might have been. And he just, from his first touch, I was just like, who is this guy? And he'd done like a little trick and stuff. And on one side, I get so upset that we couldn't hang on to the likes of the Joey Coles and the Carricks and Rio's Longer and Lampard. But it was an era when we kind of probably needed to offload for obvious reasons after going down and whatnot. But again, has an absolutely fantastic career. Still speaks very highly of West Ham every time he kind of talks, and that passion is still there. I know he moved on to Chelsea and whatnot, but he deserved that move, and he done very well, and he deserved the career that he got. But the hype around that kid growing up was something I've never seen. I've never seen that before.
It was mental, and obviously, hopefully we get him soon, and very soon, hopefully. And I think for him, I'd love to ask him about that as well, because as you said, we knew about him from the age of about 13. And it's like, how can you fathom a 13-year-old in terms of being, recommended as the next Gaza or whatever, it's just phenomenal, the amount of pressure he must have had. I know he probably say that he wasn't pressure, he didn't have any pressure, but it must be, it must be just having that.
Funny enough, someone that you actually spoke to recently, Adam Newton, I spoke to him a few weeks ago myself, a good friend of mine. And I had that exact conversation with him about the hype around some of the players that were coming through there. And Joe wasn't the only one. We had obviously we know about the players that we had there, but he's the way that he was hyped up and the way that he come through that, he could have, really messed things up. But I'm really glad that he did it. He went on to have a great career, and now he's doing really well as a pundit as well.
I think he's a fantastic pundit, isn't he? He's got a fantastic football brain, and hopefully wherever he goes, I know he's doing sort of sabbatical, he's sort of going around all these different clubs and learning about everything. Who knows?
Exactly. Right, and then I've also gone for Mr. West Ham, Mark Noble. I think for me, he's exactly what West Ham's all about. He's lived all of our dreams, in my opinion. You speak to him now, and he'll tell you that he'd have been happy with just making that one appearance for West Ham, and he's gone on and made hundreds and hundreds and more. So for him, he sits in there. He's always been very reliable for us. He's never let us down. He's stayed with us through relegations. I'm gutted for him that he's never been able to maybe lift a trophy up. Maybe next year, you don't know his last year, but ultimately he's everything that epitomises West Ham United, and we can't ever forget what he's done. And there's no point people jumping on it now going he's not good enough and whatever. Look, we know that he's not going to be a starter, but at the same time, let's not forget what he's done for the club. He's been absolutely a fantastic servant. Others have moved for more money, but he stayed, and hopefully he's within the club for a very long time.
Exactly. And the fact that he's told us that he's going to have a season that's next season's his last one. I think he's brilliant. So we've got that. In the same way, obviously the last season at the Bowling was the last season at the Bowling. So every game was special. It was the last time you play Swansea and last time you play Arsenal, at the Bowling. This will be this last time Mark Noble plays for West Ham against Liverpool, against Man United. Yeah. So when he comes on for those 10, 15 minutes, to tie up the game like he always does, there's something special about that. And I mean, I was watching Deck did a thing with Tubes the other day, and they asked about Noble retiring, and he's like, he's gutted for him. But part of me, I know he's gutted for him from a football perspective, but from a career perspective, Declan could have the key to the castle from next summer onwards. So I know it's great. I know it's horrible, but for the longevity of the club, getting Deck tied down, so all to get him chained up. That's
I think that was one of the reasons why he was handed the captaincy at such a young age. It was to say, look, you're the future of this club. Learn off of Mark Noble. Anyone that has ever spoken about Mark Noble has always said about he's more than just a captain. He's the person that puts an arm around you. He'll make sure that you're settled. You've got your house. You've got your car. You've got all that kind of stuff. That's a player liaisons officer. That's not a captain's role all the time to do that, and he does beyond than his duty, if you like, as a club captain, and there's no one that I think that can say anything different. So he was firmly in my West Ham 11.
Definitely. Okay,
and then
who's next?
I've got a player who, for me, I used to base, seems like such a long time ago now, but base my own kind of football talents around, and it was Eyal Berkovic.
Nice.
I absolutely loved watching Eyal Berkovic play. He was so low ground gravity, as they say. He could pick a player out of anywhere, and I used to love watching him play. And his passion again for the club. He had a number of different opportunities where he could have gone as well, early doors, to sign for teams like Spurs, and he didn't. He stayed with us. And I remember a few goals that he scored that just really stood out for me at Upton Park. Right, I sit in the bottom or lower, beating Liverpool 2-1, and then coming onto the ball and smashing it into the bottom corner. And some of his assists in that season, when you look back at some of the games, he made it easy. He made it absolutely easy for Hartson and Kitson at times. So he's someone that I think we've always missed and not replaced too much. I know Yossi Benayoun kind of come in and done a similar role, but I always said we never replaced Eyal Berkovic, and I think it's so hard to do. And I still don't think we've got an Eyal Berkovic type of player in our team. I think Ben Rama is that type of flary player, Lanzini, but they're not Berkovic. Berkovic is was absolutely class.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. And we've had obviously we've had like Hartson and stuff on, and and obviously he had such a phenomenal season, and he credited a lot of those goals to Berkovic, and they had this incredible partnership. And you're right. I mean, nowadays Berkovic would walk into any top 4 team. Or top 5, because we're a top 5 team now. So yeah, no, he's class, isn't he? Absolutely class. It's quite funny because where the other players, where like PSE or Potsy or Conch, Shax, they look the same as they did then. Like, bless him.
Yeah, but
the years haven't been kind to him. Let's be honest. But
no, they haven't.
He's still a top man.
Very
right. Okay.
So.
So who's next? I've
got 3. I had 3 spaces to fill in forward positions, and I used to love a forward at West Ham, even though we haven't managed to find the hero for the last however long. But one of them was Bobby Zamora, and again, another reason for this was he was a West Ham fan, and all I wanted was to have a team of West Ham fans at one stage. But he was so passionate. He still is, even though he's an ambassador for Brighton. When he's talking about West Ham, it's us, it's we. And he come to us again from Spurs. So there was a little bit of a kind of a thing. But I remember going up to Bradford for his debut, and he scored as well. He scored up there. He come running over, my club, kiss his badge. And we always remember as well what he did to Arsenal and Sol Campbell at Highbury as well, when he must have been down the gym that week, because Sol Campbell was rolling around on the floor for quite a while. But he had a fantastic left foot. And I also want to point out as well, in the year that we stayed up with Tevez, everyone always kind of mentioned about Carlos Tevez saving us and stuff. You look back and Zamora played a massive part in that. Yeah. That goal against Everton, even against Blackburn with a ghost goal, if you like, and a few other bits and pieces. He was fantastic, and he led the line. And I absolutely love Bobby Zamora. In Ipswich, in the playoff semi-finals, that's the second one where he come over his shoulder and his left foot and he pinged it in, and he's run over to all of us in that corner. Oh, I mean, the passion. Again, he looks exactly the same now. I don't know what he's using, but he's doing all right.
He's doing all right. And you're right. It's funny because I said to him, and runner of the Ham of the year in 2007. Went, I should have won that year. They gave some little Argentinian bloke, Tevez or something like that. And he talks about his Tottenham. I didn't last there long. I went out pretty.
It was a good move for him to make that move, and we all heard about him in Brighton crashing goals. But when I knew he was signing for us, I didn't care that there was that connection, even though he scored against us to knock us out of the cup. But ever since then, the way he talks has always been us and we, as I mentioned, and I love that passion for him. And he's a barking boy. He's everything that we always wanted as a fan watching. And again, a great player to have in the team.
Yeah, and you got Konchesky there, who he literally cannot shift. So there we go.
There you go. And then my final player. I've got 2 more players. There you go. So I've gone for TC, Tony Cottee.
Yeah.
When I first started going over there again, there was this little guy playing up front wearing the number 27 shirt. And I just always used to say to my dad, I was like, how does this guy score goals? Because they're all in the box. Like, as a forward, you never used to see, he's not going to crash it from 18 to 20 A1 yards. No. But if there was a fox in the box and you needed someone to poach you a goal, it was Tony Cottee. And again, I sound like I'm repeating myself a little bit, but there's a theme here. My Hammers 11 has been based around the passion, and he's still so passionate about West Ham. And, I've met him a few times, been lucky to meet him a couple of times, and all he ever wants is West Ham to do well. And these are the teams, the players that you want in and around the club. And obviously he was part of that squad in 1986. I think I was only 4 at the time, so I don't remember that. But you want those guys to have some good memories of West Ham as well, because they've endured a lot of horrible times as well. So, but he was brilliant. He just kept scoring goals.
Oh yeah, and top boy. I mean, they all are. I mean, talk to all of them. They all love their time at the club, and there is something special about us. There is something special about our club. It's a funny little club in East London, and as you said, whether they come from TC, whether they come, it's always been his blood, and you'd sit and stand on the terraces and or someone like Ginge, for example, who's not from around these parts, and he became a West Ham legend. He still lives in the area, and people like Alvin Martin are still knocking around Hornchurch and stuff like that. So there's this weird pull. It's a weird club. It's a weird club.
Which leads me on nicely to this final guy who took West Ham in his heart from day one. Bit of a troubled soul when we signed him, but it was Paolo Di Canio.
Yeah,
and he's one who, for me, was just unbelievable. I mean, I could have had Payet in this team and other stuff, but he hurt me quite a bit. But Paolo Di Canio, for me, any game, had me standing up. His passion for the club. He's got West Ham tattoos. He's again a guy from Rome. He's come over. We welcomed him with open arms, and he left us with closed arms in that respect. And what a player! What a player! Left foot, right foot. The passion he had as well. I remember a lot of people mentioned the Bradford game when he substituted himself because he just weren't getting the rub of the green. But what a great player, and we can talk about his goals in a show in itself. But he was definitely going to make my 11. So David James, you might have forgotten, but I haven't.
Yeah, exactly, James. Stick to your socks.
Yes,
Get some of his socks. But yeah, I mean, I think what I loved about, he was a showman, weren't he? It was, and we talk about that period. Obviously that period, sort of the Redknapp era and stuff like that. They were all characters. They were all. Football was fun then. Football is enjoyable enough from a technical perspective. I don't find it fun. Do you know what I mean? Although West Ham do have some sort of throwbacks. I think Declan Rice is a sort of a slightly older personality because he has a personality. And Antonio's a bit like that. We had Snodgrass, he was a bit like that. But football's quite uber professional in my, whereas you wouldn't get the, stories of Razor Ruddock and Di Canio and Ian Wright and people like that. It was a part of a bit of a more fun time, and Di Canio epitomised that, wasn't he? You didn't know what Di Canio was going to turn up, whether it was, I don't know, the mesmeric player who turned Tony Adams and Martin Keown and, or whether he was going to be the Bradford City guy and take me off. And that's why I loved it. It was a great time to be a fan.
It was.
And then that's the team. That's the team. That ain't a bad team, my friend.
Yeah, like I said, I've tried to pick a team that meant something to me one way or another. And I think that, that all those players, I think they've got one thing in common, and that is their, passion and love for my club. So that's why I've gone for him. I'd have loved to see that trio in midfield in heyday as well. So,
Noble in his pomp. It would have been amazing. And,
it would have been, but
with them. But no, it's all good, man. It's all good. So, man, absolute pleasure, my friend. Absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me, mate. It's been great, and good. I look forward to continuing to watch.
Thank you very much. And obviously, thanks everyone for watching or listening, whatever you do, wherever you like. Because some people listen to it in the garden. It's nice gardening now. You can listen to it while doing the garden. Why not? Phones have got speakers and everything. Whatever it is, make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and subscribe and share. And for myself and from Turk, take care, everyone. Stay safe. Wash those hands. Get those jabs. Come on, you irons, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Take care, everyone.
Take care.
Much love.